Hey guys, this episode of Box Office Watch is rated S for super spoilers. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome to Box Office Watch. This is our second review. Well, not really second review, but this is our second episode in our review series. And we will be talking spoilers for Batman v Superman. So you have been warned. We are going to get into spoiler territory. So here with us, we have
Matt.
I'm Jeremy.
And we will be talking about Batman v Superman. So let's first get into performance. What do you guys think?
I liked it in that area. I really liked Ben Affleck because he looks like Bruce Wayne, but like Superman. I don't know. I don't keep up with the cast too much. Henry Cavill, I didn't really like him because he just seemed awkward throughout the whole thing. I get he's not human, but it didn't sound like something a person would say who lived on Earth their whole life.
Jeremy?
You know?
Yeah, I definitely did like Ben Affleck, and it seems like pretty much everyone agrees that, he was one of the, really good parts of the movie. He did make a good Bruce Wayne and Batman, and, I don't know, I didn't really mind Henry Cavill. I mean, he definitely has, he has the Superman look down pat, but I don't know, maybe he's still struggling with the, acting with an American accent kind of thing at this point.
Yeah. Because he's definitely not American.
I really like.
So playing a Southerner would be hard.
Oh yeah. I really liked Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. Let's get a full cast list just so that we don't miss anyone. But I really liked Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. He did a really good job, and he's definitely gonna give Christian Bale a run for his money. Because we've never seen a Batman so edgy. Like, never. And the fact that he kills in the movie, it doesn't really bother me. Because this is after the death of Jason Todd. So we have a new Batman. And then Henry Cavill as Superman. I liked him. He isn't amazing or anything, but he still is a pretty good Superman. But I wish he could have showed more emotion as Superman. And next we have Amy Adams, who plays Lois Lane, and
I didn't like her. I'm gonna be blunt. I think she was terrible.
I don't know if it was Amy Adams' fault so much as it just was like the script and the directing. Yeah.
Yeah, she was so hopeless.
Yeah, she wasn't given much to work with.
No.
My problem with Lois Lane is that she was a part of, she was shoehorned into the movie, and with the whole thing,
could have been fine with her.
Like with the whole Martha thing, she just randomly just came there, and she wasn't really necessary for certain parts of the movie. I kind of feel like they could have more cleverly put her in the movie. But she was just, kind of forced in. Yep, we need to have Amy Adams. We have to have Lois Lane.
She was only in to, sort of as a plot device.
Yeah. And then the
whole... To establish, a reason why people wouldn't like Superman.
Continue, Jeremy?
And don't forget the blatant fan service of her in the bathtub. That scene was so unnecessary.
Yeah. It wasn't...
For a movie that's PG-13.
Yeah.
I guess it shows that Clark Kent is human and that he really loves Lois. So I guess it humanizes him in a way. But
yeah, but they could have done that without her being naked in a bathtub in a PG-13 movie that, 8-year-old kids are going to see. Yeah. But, yeah.
This was more so, do keep in mind that this movie was originally rated R, and then they had to cut down some scenes.
That's a good point.
Oh, it's the 3-hour cut?
Yeah,
Rated R?
the 3 hour.
I wasn't aware of that.
Next, we have Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I think we all have different opinions about him, but I'll see what you guys think first.
I liked him. I liked him as a younger Lex Luthor.
I think
he's definitely different from what most people know from like the older films, but I liked him.
What did you think, Jeremy?
I think, I don't know, again, kind of the same deal as like the Amy Adams situation. I feel like he did the best with what he was given to work with and everything, and it's definitely it's a very different interpretation of Lex Luthor. I'm curious to see if, in future installments, if he's going to like bulk up at all or be more physically intimidating. But I do like that he was he was a very smart character, and I mean, again, obviously this is a spoiler, but toward the end it was like revealed that he was like pulling all the strings behind the scenes. So I did enjoy that moment and everything.
It seems like something a genius like him would do. They wrote that part really well with Martha.
Well, rumor has it that no, not rumor, but Zack Snyder actually confirmed that the Riddler and Joker were supposed to be in Batman v Superman, and that Jesse Eisenberg was actually supposed to play either Jimmy Olsen or the Riddler. So I guess
I think they should leave the Joker for Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what they ultimately ended up doing. But I think that parts when he was rehearsing to play the Riddler, I guess elements of that were left and he carried it into his portrayal of Lex Luthor.
Yeah. I think he would make a better Riddler than Lex Luthor. But appearance-wise, I think he looks the part, but I don't think he doesn't sound the part, Like, Lex Luthor is always portrayed with the deep voice and, like, a calm psyche, and that's not what they did with him in this movie.
And then next we have Alfred, played by Jeremy Irons. I really liked Jeremy Irons as Alfred. He was more hands-on and more crafty and witty. For
me, I don't have an opinion on him. He just had so small of an appearance, so little of an appearance that I didn't really have an opinion of him because I didn't see much of him.
Yeah, I think we'll get to see more of Alfred's character in the Batman solo movie, but yeah, there wasn't much for him to do in this one. But I liked that he was so kind of sarcastic, and as Batman had kind of like maybe slipped a little in his morals and was just going out to kill Superman, Alfred was basically saying to him,
what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. So it was good to have him there as that voice of reason.
And
that's definitely a character that he should be, knowing him for like his whole life.
Yeah.
And then there's Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman, and
I liked her.
She was amazing.
Yeah, I think she partly stole the show.
Her and Ben Affleck. I kind of had reservations about Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot, but they did really, 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 really good jobs.
Yeah, towards, like, in the party scene, I was going to say towards the end, but in the party scene, they had really good chemistry. Like, when she was pretending to be the waitress, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And she caught him planting that device or whatever. Their little bit of chemistry there was good.
And then when she came in, when they were fighting Doomsday, that was really,
yeah,
really
with her theme playing in.
Oh, yeah. Wait, speaking of themes, the soundtrack was amazing.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer can't really do any wrong.
And XL Junkie.
Yes.
They both were behind it.
Sad that Hans Zimmer isn't going to do superhero movies.
Yeah.
Anymore, because he could probably do the other DC movies.
But, on the bright side, we still have, like, the Superman theme, and the Batman theme, and the Wonder Woman theme, so they're probably gonna carry that out.
They're probably gonna use them in the future.
And then, with the visual... Okay. So here is my slight problem with the movie. A lot of the scenes weren't necessary, so... with the whole thing in Africa, and, like, it didn't fit, really. And it kind of felt like Lois was forced into the movie to seem relevant to the plot.
Yeah. They could have handled the Africa bit a lot better.
They could have added at least 30 more minutes of
Yeah,
Lex Luthor's motivation. And for a Batman
definitely.
and Superman movie, Batman and Superman only fought for 8 minutes.
It should have been at least like 20 minutes.
Like, that would have been it. That was a wasted opportunity.
Well, I think the problem with that is, as opposed to, say Marvel, which did more of like a build up and had more solo movies, DC kind of just jumped like right into this. They had Man of Steel, and then like instantly just next movie like a bunch of characters in this one and everything. So they couldn't really develop, a lot of the characters as much as they would have liked. It would have been nice to see more, Lex backstory, or see Lois actually do something, or a little more of Wonder Woman. But I guess we'll get that in their solo movies. But it's just weird that they, put so many people, into this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
there should have been more time to explain Batman, I think.
Yeah.
Like the people who thought that this was a sequel to the Nolan films, because I don't know, they're not like the big comic fans, probably got really confused when he started like next to killing people and like branding them. So I think if they explained Batman better, then like the casual people would probably have seen it more, and we'll see the next ones.
Yeah, the movie. Okay, so let's like digest the plot. So at the beginning of the movie, it starts off with yet again another them showing us again that Bruce Wayne had his parents killed. And actually, I like this version a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a good scene, especially with the necklace shot. It was shot pretty well.
Yeah, and that's where this movie triumphs with the actual visuals.
Cinematography.
Yes. Zack Snyder is very, very good at that. But he kind of lacks...
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
But at the same time, he kind of lacks in the storytelling department. But I guess that's why they brought Chris Terrio to rewrite David S. Goyer's script. But the main problem is that the scenes with Batman, they kind of feel unbalanced in a way. Because it feels very well written at some point, and then not very well written at another point. I kind of feel like the Batman scenes stand out the most.
Yeah, they definitely did. I paid more attention during those than the other ones.
And then next we have the Black Zero event, which are the events of Man of Steel, with all of Metropolis being destroyed. And I kind of feel like this movie was in response to Man of Steel and its criticism. Jeremy, what do you think?
Which criticisms did it get about that?
Like, oh, there's too much destruction. So I guess they wrote in a way that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see how that's a bad thing. It would make this movie better if people knew that Superman killed a lot of people doing what he did.
Well, yeah. I mean, Superman was kind of careless, but it was really good the way they went about it. And the first 10 minutes of the movie, if they were to just like take that out, that would be like a 10 out of a 10 for me. It kind of feels uneven at times.
Mhm.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think regarding the whole, Man of Steel thing, it was nice to see, that Bruce Wayne was like on the ground in Metropolis when all that was happening. So it helps with his, his motivation and his, distrust of Superman. The fact that he was, personally there to see, the destruction and the death and everything of that. So I think it just helps, so you can really see it through his eyes and why he's actually going after Superman.
Yeah, I agree with him on that.
And then next we go to, well, we basically just see Superman and Batman's individual lives. And that kind of, I don't know, I wasn't really interested in the Superman side.
Yeah, same. It had so little.
Like it kind of felt hollow at times.
Mhm.
And then with Batman, he was actually really scary because when those people were being trafficked, then he was actually like he branded the person at first, and then after that he was like creeping like
Yeah,
everywhere in the shadows. I'm like, wow, if I was a criminal, then I'd be really scared of Batman.
yeah. That's what this movie did well, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited for the solo Batman movie.
Because something I like that they called him a devil
Oh yeah.
because that's what probably heroes are to the majority of the criminals, a devil.
Well, yeah, because they like stop all of their evil plans.
Yeah. Plus the idea of a crazy guy going around dressed as a bat and beating people up is not what most people would perceive as a hero.
Yeah, that is
Like
true.
people look up to like singers and stuff like that. Like people call Taylor Swift a hero, but they wouldn't call a batshit insane person a hero.
Yeah, most of the time, like in the real world, when people do try dressing up in costumes and fighting crime, it's like we kind of just think of them as crazy or, yeah.
And this movie really does do a good job of talking about power and how, well, we get to see Lex Luthor's ideology that he cannot be good, that Superman
He's
cannot.
all powerful.
Yeah. And Lex Luthor's ideology is very flawed.
Uh-huh. Because it's anecdotal, really. Because he hasn't experienced every person with power.
Exactly.
And it's a one-sided opinion, which is what most people in the real world who are perceived as villains have. So I like the way that they wrote those two.
And then he goes into the party and, well, Lex's fundraiser event. Then he puts, he's investigating the white Portuguese. And then he takes, this is the part where I knew that stuff was going down. Because he took the USB and then he put it in his computer. And then all of a sudden the screen goes white. And then I see the nightmare sequence.
Yeah,
That was
I like the nightmare sequence.
Mad Max Batman was really good. And
Yeah, with the duster coat on.
yeah. And then after that, this is very interesting because Superman, well, he's
He has
fighting.
his like militia with him.
Yeah, and then after he goes down, and then he was like, "Have any of you guys played Injustice or know the storyline?"
Played the mobile version. That's how much of a casual I am.
I didn't play it.
So yeah, so he comes. So basically, with Injustice, without spoiling it, it is about the world.
Oh, I know how it I know what happens. So.
Well, for the viewers, basically, it's about a world. Superman just turns evil because of Lois Lane, and she's dead. So it's like dealing with that. So then he comes down, and then after he's like, "She was my world," and then after he rips his heart out, or that's what it seems that he does, and then after that,
Temple of Doom.
pardon?
Very Indiana Jones like.
Yeah, and then after the Flash comes running through time, and then he's like, "Am I too soon? I'm too soon."
And yeah, she's the key.
Yeah. So I guess that's predicting like a future Justice League movie. And I wasn't surprised. That really caught me by surprise.
I was so confused by that scene, honestly. That kind of just came out of nowhere. I couldn't even quite tell that it was the Flash at first, and him just like popping into the past
he wasn't
like that.
in his TV show outfit, so it took me a while to figure out who that was.
Yeah, I think like most of the casual, fans, the general audience that saw the movie are
that is.
Yeah, like even I mean, I would consider myself a nerd, and even I was confused by that scene. So that really came out of nowhere.
And I wouldn't think that too many of the casual viewers would know that that was hinting towards Darkseid and Apocalypse.
Yeah.
With the parademons like flying in at the end. And the I think there was an
that's
Omega
what
symbol.
Those things were. Oh, okay. All right. I was wondering that too.
Darkseid.
And there was like an Omega symbol, I think, outside the city.
And the main problem with this film is I personally really like Zack Snyder's work. Well, I've only seen Man of Steel, but I the problem with him is accessibility, and this movie really suffers from that because
Yeah,
the general
definitely.
audience, they don't know what's going on. Even with the deleted scene with didn't
Communion.
yeah, Communion. Did you see that, Jeremy?
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
That's the one with Lex and. Okay. Yeah, I completely forgot what happened, but I know it's something to do with Lex.
Wasn't that
Right?
one of
Or am I-
Darkseid's like sons or whatever?
I think it's I didn't even know what that was. And if they were to I'm not sure if that's going on the extended cut, but to the audience they're like, what is that? What's going on? I mean, Lex
Yeah.
Luthor gets arrested. And then after
I think it's better that was cut for that very reason.
and then after Jonathan Kent, he just like shows up out of nowhere.
As a ghost.
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah, like that doesn't make sense.
like
Like
what
straight up, it doesn't make sense.
like so many flashbacks. But then next we go to Batman's investigating the White Portuguese so that he can steal the kryptonite. And then after that, like the Batmobile chase, that was actually really, really good.
Yep, I liked that scene a lot.
And yeah, that was a really good thing. And then out of nowhere comes Superman, and then he's just standing there. And then he warns Batman.
Yeah.
It kind of begs the question why Superman decided to stop Batman and not the criminals transporting kryptonite, but
That could easily kill him.
yeah, exactly.
Seems like the wrong enemy to pick.
I mean, Superman, they don't really do a good job of showing why Superman is mad at Batman.
Like I was like, why would he attack someone? Why would he attack someone who's stopping criminals if that's the very thing Superman does? It doesn't make much sense.
And like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and then he's like,
It's
"Oh,
pretty hypocritical.
well, not everyone agrees with your opinion, Matt." Get it? Sorry, that was a really bad joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and then like Superman views Batman as brutal and unforgiving. But the problem with that is that he killed innocent civilians and he ended up just snapping Zod's neck.
Yeah. Again, it's hypocritical, which I like, because he's an alien. So he wouldn't naturally. I don't know how to phrase this, but he wouldn't get how humans act
So
and have opinions and such.
I mean, in fairness, though, Superman was raised on Earth by humans and everything. I mean, I understand because of his powers, he kind of, like Lex says, he kind of operates under different rules because of what he can do, but
Yeah, there's definitely an ego thing when you're that powerful,
yeah.
which they portrayed well.
But the thing that really bothered me is that it kind of felt one-sided, like Batman fights Superman. Doesn't feel like Batman v Superman. Just feels like Batman fights Superman. Batman's reason is justified, but Superman's really isn't.
Yeah.
And then next we have like the senator hearing, the hearing at the court.
Yeah, with the bomb.
Yeah, and then it just completely like goes off. And then like why couldn't Superman
I really
sorry?
didn't like the addition of Granny's peach tea. It's really not what Lex Luthor would do. It's not his character. It's not his style. Pissing in a jar and planting a bomb.
Well, it just shows that he's very sinister. Because after that, because what happened is that the senator is like, oh, you can call.
You can't piss in a jar and call it Granny's peach tea.
Yeah. So then what he did? So what he did is that he did that. I'd like to think that that's actual urine, just to show that he's very evil and very mischievous. But yeah, so he put it in the jar, and then when she looks at it, I mean, that part is kind of confusing because why couldn't Superman just stop the bomb?
Uh-huh.
But doesn't he say, like, a scene or two later when he's talking to Lois, like, he was right there and he didn't see it or something?
Yeah,
So, I mean, he kind
was
of...
feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Lex Luthor. It still doesn't give us why Lex Luthor doesn't like Superman. I mean, can't Lex Luthor just try to control Superman rather than just going against him?
Because he eventually did kidnap Martha to control him anyways. So he could have done that much earlier.
Okay, so now for Martha Gate. Okay, so what happened next is I really liked it, but a lot of people didn't. So he kidnaps Lex Luthor kidnaps, well, he gets his men to kidnap Martha, and then after that,
The fight.
well, no, so he, like, okay, so I have two opinions to this. So it was really cool the way that they were able to do that, to force them into conflict, Lex Luthor. And then, like,
Yeah,
those
it's hard to set that up.
And then those pictures, it kind of gave me a really Killing Joe vibe, in a way.
I haven't read The Killing Joke, but I know what happens in it. So
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel that, or I didn't feel that, because I never read it.
And then after that, he says, well, bring me the head of the bat, and they'll show how dirty you will get to save the people that you love, or to get something that you want.
Yeah.
And then after that, blah, 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 they fight. And then after that, Batman is on the ground. Superman is on the ground. And then after...
With a spear to his head.
Yeah, and then after that, he's like... Okay, I think that Martha was actually genius, because rather than saying, save my mother, he was like, okay, save Martha, so that he has a name to go by. And then after that, he's like, save Martha.
Well, that's a big psychological attack to Batman.
Yeah, and then he's like, why did you say...
In front of him, he saw his mother die, so when Superman's saying, like, save her when he couldn't, I think that's partly why Superman sort of got an upper hand at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it also shows Batman in that moment that Superman is not just like this evil alien or whatever. Superman, like in that moment when Superman is at Batman's mercy, he's not begging Batman for his life, he's begging him for his mother's life. So it shows Batman that Superman is human, and he has people, he has a family, he has people he cares for and everything.
And Batman never had that.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to kill someone because he knows how it feels to have someone you really care about die right in front of them. So he didn't want to be that killer, like the person who killed his parents. He wanted to actually do something. So I really liked that Martha scene. And then after that, we go into possibly the best fights I've ever seen in the history of cinema, which is Batman fighting those warehouse goons.
Yeah, I really liked that.
That was straight out of one of the Arkham games. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any of the Arkham games, Jeremy?
I've played Asylum and City, but not any of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
I've played City, but I don't own it.
Yeah.
I played that at a friend's once, so that's all I've really played of the Arkham series.
But yeah, it was really, really good. And then after that, Lex Luthor creates Doomsday. Well, he saves Martha, and then he creates Doomsday. And
out of Zod.
Pardon?
Wait, did he create something I never got? Did he create him out of Zod or something?
No, I think that he was just investigating. I'm not sure, but I think that he was just investigating Zod, and then after he like took his blood, so that I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to see that again. I've only seen it once.
It was very poorly explained. It was just like the Kryptonian computer and the ship thing. It was just like, oh yeah, we can make this Kryptonian abomination thing. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool. So
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Martha
thing.
A
minor nitpick with that scene was, how can an alien computer speak English? Or how does it why does it speak English if it's only been on Earth very recently.
Well, I guess for convenience?
Plot convenience.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't
Maybe
know.
I don't know. Maybe like when Lex like touched the main control console or whatever, there was like a psychic link with him, and it I don't know picked up the English language or
Pacific
something.
Rim stuff there.
Yeah, something like that. Apparently, Lex and the ship are drift compatible.
And then what is also cool about this? Okay, so then he creates Doomsday, and then so there is less destruction in this movie. So when he creates Doomsday, they go to a deserted place. So that's much better than Man of Steel.
I thought it was kind of funny, honestly, how Batman v Superman went out of its way to say like places were abandoned or whatever. Like when Doomsday first shows up, they like Anderson Cooper's on the news and he's like, "Oh well, it's after business hours, so downtown's practically empty." And then Doomsday happens to land on this like abandoned island where nobody lives, and then they go to this abandoned port in Gotham where there's nobody, just so that they don't have the same criticisms that Man of Steel did.
Well, yeah, I guess they ended up getting criticized. It was actually panned more than Man of Steel. Did you guys?
Yeah.
Did you guys?
I don't know why it was though.
Yeah, neither do I.
It fixed that criticism clearly.
Did you wait? Okay, who here watched Man of Steel? I did.
Never the whole thing.
Did you were you a part, which side were you on of the Man of Steel?
I liked Man of Steel. Again, it's not a perfect movie by any means. It certainly had its flaws, but I mean, unlike Batman v Superman, it wasn't. I thought the pacing in Man of Steel was better. It wasn't so overstuffed because it didn't have so many characters and everything. And I honestly think the Superman Zod fight was better than the fight against Doomsday in this movie. But I don't know. That's probably an unpopular opinion.
I really liked the Trinity fight. But then Lois Lane, she yet again came to ruin everything when she threw the kryptonite spear in the water. What was she doing? So,
yeah.
And then after that, Wonder Woman came down, saved Batman from the blast.
Plot convenience.
And then after that, Superman gets wait, how did Superman not hear his mom, but how did he hear Lois Lane?
I'm not sure how.
Yeah, so...
Well, Lois Lane didn't make much of a fuss when she got kidnapped.
Oh, well, yeah. So then he goes underwater to get the kryptonite spear, and then after...
Flies, somehow.
Pardon?
He somehow flies after that, which I never got.
And then after he, shouldn't... This all could have been avoided if he gave the kryptonite spear to Wonder Woman.
Or to Batman.
Or Batman. Well, Batman. He's not really that...
I think the problem is that Batman just didn't have, the physical strength to actually penetrate Doomsday's skin, because I think he says that to Alfred or somebody, that he would need to find a way to actually get through Doomsday's defenses.
Yeah, because when he's flying the Batwing or whatever, he says he needs to go get the spear.
Yeah.
So after that, Superman stabs the spear into Doomsday, and
he himself gets impaled.
And then after that, Batman v Superman. But what was really cool is that Warner Brothers did make... Okay, so there was the funeral, and then after that, Wonder Woman was talking about, organizing a team.
Of the metahumans.
So, Warner Brothers did actually make a lot of pretty big moves when you really think about it. They did the death of Superman.
Which I think came a little early.
Well, he's obviously...
Well, I get Doomsday was created to kill Superman in the comics, but when you only have 2 movies in your universe, and you kill off your like most iconic one in the second movie when there's clearly way more to come. That's not a good decision.
Yeah, they might have been better off
Keeping them for one more
waiting
movie.
until like a few. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then after that, the dirt starts levitating, and then yeah, Batman v Superman.
I never understood what the point of the dirt levitating was supposed to imply. Was that supposed to imply he's alive? Or is that supposed to imply something else?
It's because he gains strength from the sun's energy, so I guess that he's healing, and then with the soil, he gets stronger. So
I mean, he's done. I mean, that kind of is just sort of. I think the first time in Man of Steel when he takes flight, like the same sort of thing happens. Like when he's trying to take off, like the ground and like the dust around him kind of just like levitates and moves. So it's kind of just like a side effect of the whole thing. So he's probably just gonna burst out of the coffin in flight or something.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's obviously not gonna die because I already saw the concept art for Justice League, and he's like in the middle.
That's quite sad, though. That the only real character death they had, they just sort of played it off.
And then after that, oh yeah, the Easter eggs. There were a lot of nods to Justice League. Like, when Wonder Woman was opening the files, Diana Prince. That
Yeah.
was very cleverly placed. What did you think, Jeremy?
To be honest, I thought it was a little shoehorned in that like that's how you introduce, three of like the big main players of the Justice League. Like I understand that like they had to do that for, the purposes of like the world building and everything and get those characters in there, but I don't know, I thought it was a little shoehorned in there and everything. I love Jason Momoa as Aquaman, though. I think he looks awesome. I loved him in Game of Thrones, though. I think he's going to do a really good job with that role, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, he definitely looked like someone who was losing a war in that one like piece of footage they had. I think he played his 10 seconds very well.
And then we had Flash. I like Ezra Miller. I think that he'll do a pretty good job as the Flash.
I don't like know much about the Flash, so I don't know. Maybe if you guys could explain it, but on that like CCTV footage, he was grabbing like the milk or whatever. He ran, and then on the other camera, it just shows him walking at normal speed. I don't get that. Why show that?
Oh, I guess to show that that's the Flash, and we have this metahuman.
Yeah, but why show him walking there at normal speed?
So he's walking.
When he just ran over.
Oh, I guess to like.
Because they didn't show him running back to that spot. So I don't know if that's an oversight or if that was done properly. And I just don't know much about the Flash.
I don't even I vaguely remember that scene. So I'm gonna probably have to look at it again. And then Cyborg. That scene kind of confused me a little.
With the mother box healing him?
Yeah. Is this before? Or, like, is this his origin story? Is this before the events of Man of Steel?
Yeah, like, how did they get a mother box, Star Labs?
Yeah.
Because they're sort of like the Infinity Stones in Marvel. They're pretty rare.
Yeah. So I don't know. This movie, I really liked it. I really enjoyed myself. But this movie did have some problems.
Oh yeah, I think accessibility was what held it back.
Yeah, for newcomers.
Especially, like I said earlier, if you thought this was a sequel to the Nolan Batman movies, then you would have been like screwed over even more in terms of accessibility.
Yeah.
Because you have characters who completely changed.
Yeah.
In the course of like 4 years.
I never thought in a million years that I would actually be looking forward to an extended cut of a movie. Like, I really want to see that 3 hour and 5 minute cut
Yeah, I would see that.
to see what they missed. So hopefully they bring it to the big screen so that it can redeem the movie a little bit.
I think that's going to kill accessibility even more because it's going to explain more things. But I don't know many people that would go see a 3 hour movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get people to go. You need
To a
something.
2 hour movie.
Yeah, I mean it was like 2.5 hours as it was. You really need something like Lord of the Rings that can hold your interest for 3 hours.
Yeah.
so final thoughts. What would you rate this movie?
8.5 out of 10.
What would you rate it, Jeremy?
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
And I will give it.
That's a fair rating.
I'd give it. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I know we explained a lot of the criticisms, but I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was a really. The DC Extended Universe is doing what the fans want. No one just sits there and says, hey, let's make a movie for critics. No, the fans have spoken, and box office records have been broken already.
Yeah, the fans might have spoke, but I don't think the casual viewer base will go back to future DC movies unless Suicide Squad ramps up in accessibility. Then I think the DCU will pretty much just resort to fan service. Well, a lot more fan service
Well,
than Dawn of Justice had.
well,
I
actually,
mean, it's kind of hard to, in terms of critical reception, it'd be basically impossible for Suicide Squad to get any worse because, I mean, Batman v Superman was in the 20s on Rotten Tomatoes, so
like Green
Yeah.
Lantern territory.
You're getting into like Birdemic levels of bad. Well,
Like
that
I think The Room has like 35% or something.
The Room has a higher critic score, but a lower user score.
The Room is
Dawn
a
of
great
Justice.
unintentional comedy, though. At least it has
Uh-huh.
that going for it.
I've never
Please
seen
stop.
it. I've just heard bad things about it.
I almost hit you.
Are you talking to your dog?
You know, that's a quote from the movie.
Oh. All right then. Well, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Sound off in the comment section and tell us what you thought of this movie. We will be talking more about the DC Extended Universe in the future. And yeah, guys, take care. Do you guys have anything else to say to the fans?
No. All I hope is that Cool Cat Saves the Kids gets a sequel.
All right then. Well, thank you guys for watching. We'll have a box office report on Monday. Make sure to like, favorite, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.